Thank you for taking the time out to hang out with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. I'm happy to talk.
I love it. Well, I want to jump right into Have I Got News for You? Like I was saying, you are my sanity. Um, I, I want to know really how you do it. How do you bring that satirical edge to real world news? What's going on right now?
I think that we have a really good team over there, and between, Jim Biederman and Jimmy Movil, the gift that we have at our show is that we have a 30-year mothership in Britain that's been running for 30 seasons, excuse me. So there's a bit of there's a template that was already in place. I think the bigger question about a panel show in America was whether or not Americans would be okay with that format. They've tried this format a million different times, and I think that our time slot, our network, those are all variables that I think help to make the show successful because it's comedy from a channel that you normally wouldn't expect lightheartedness from, that you normally don't like. I would argue probably not since Kamal Bell.
Mhm.
With United Shades, was there like a consistent, and even with Kamal, there was a lot more of a journalistic and a purpose to what he was doing. We have no purpose other than to make you laugh and get the hell off the air at 10 o'clock on time. That's the goal. So it's been a bit of a blessing to be able to just be in a place where, all right, what happened this week? How can we make fun of it? And that's what we do.
I feel like just what you do in general resonates with people, so it's wonderful to see you there. Also, Lonely Flowers. Oh my goodness. Tell me I love how it is about being intentional about our happiness. That was the message that I really took away from it.
Yeah.
What was that aha moment for you with that special of like this is what it's about?
Oh, that's a good question. Like for me, I think that special was about. I had all these different observations on paper, and I was like, because originally I had a lot of political material in this special, and there was going to be, Biden and Kamala and Trump. And the more I really started boiling down what I felt like were the reasons why behaviorally, the way we're acting, the way we act in our society right now, I was like, wow, man, I think a lot of us just need friends or somebody to talk to. And then you just start pulling at a thread of where are all the places where we have been denied an opportunity to talk, to connect. And there were jokes there. And I just started feeling like, wow, this is the special. And, that was more of the societal side of it. And, I tell a story in the special about being invited to a sex party, which really happened. And I told my mom about it, which really happened. And then my mom said, what's wrong with those people connecting? and and it was just like this moment where I was like, damn, Joyce, you're right. People just trying to find connection, even if it's butt naked. And that was when I kind of felt like, all right, that feels like a pretty good thesis statement to build a special around this time, which is a departure for me considering, my first three specials with Comedy Central, they were all very of the time and what was happening because, we were cranking them out pretty fast. But it was different and it was cool. And I'm also thankful to Hulu because I went back to Hulu and was like, yeah, I don't think I want to talk about politics. I know that's why you like me, but I don't want to do that no more. And Hulu was like, bet.
I'm curious too how you landed on the topics that you did, where were you working it out? Where did you kind of find what cities, like how did it all fall into place?
My comedy specials, I now that I still worked out the same. Once I kind of have a loose bucket of jokes, if you will, let's just say I have 75 to 80 minutes of material, and then you hit the road. I went out, we shot our special in September of 24. that entire, let's just say from April until August, I went out 2 weekends a month for the most part and just worked out the set. You watch the tape, you see what joke works well, what joke does better after this joke or before this joke, and you start getting kind of a glimpse of the material that's most relatable. And the special is interesting in that the biggest change that I made by the time I taped it, I had a lot of material that was about loneliness out in the world, and then my own inward issues with isolation. And before I was kind of oscillating you, me. And then it just became one big thing where 30 minutes of the special is about y'all, and then the back 30 is about me. And that felt like a more grounded place to kind of bring everything.
How has social media affected you personally? Like, particularly as a comedian, kind of watching this evolution, and then certainly that in 2020, the rise of TikTok, and feels like a different world.
Yeah, I mean, social media, granted, I started doing stand up comedy where social media wasn't even MySpace yet. It was Google message boards. That's how you reached your fans. I don't even think email lists were a thing yet. Um, so, social media gives you a sense of immediacy to be able to reach people and also be able to have your finger on the pulse of what people are talking about and what they care about. I prefer to use social media as a bit of a analysis of our world and just look at what everyone's going through. That's kind of my thing. But, I think that if you're not careful as a stand up, social media can have you caring too much about what strangers think about your thoughts. And you shouldn't let that help. That should not be an influence in how you construct the things that you want to eventually say to the world.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah, very much so.
Has there been, I'm curious if you, what the fan reaction has been from the special.
The fan reaction to Lonely Flowers has been really good. What I found very interesting is that people will send me articles now about things where retail has changed. I started talking in the special about the death of retail and how the lack of employees denied us our friends. And you really underestimate that chit chat you make with somebody in a hardware store or AutoZone or I don't know, a department store. That stuff might cheer you up if you're a really lonely person, you kind of need that. And apparently there's a couple grocery stores overseas where there's a lane dedicated just for conversation. If you want to just check out fast and just not talk to anybody, they have those lanes. But they now have a lane where you can talk to the cashier, and it's understood. It's going to take me forever to ring up your groceries because I'm going to ask you how's your dog.
I love that. Um, I do want to hear more about some of those real life moments that inspired some of your material from this.
I think that there's so many instances where we as a society just really underestimate just how disconnected we've become. It creates this cycle of bitterness between people. Like, you go to Walgreens or CVS or whatever, and everything's locked up. Everything's in a lockbox now. You can't touch any of the almost because you can't touch none of the stuff. And then God forbid you go looking for an employee. Now you gotta find. So now you're mad because you gotta find. And then the employee's mad because you found them. They was hiding, taking a smoke break. So it's just this long fight between people. And there was a joke that I cut from the special about how, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but like when I see like fight videos at fast food restaurants, the employees are punching us first. They're fed up. Like that's a big change in energy from say 20 years ago where the customer's always right. And they're like, no, I'm gonna slap you in the face and I don't care if I lose this job and I'm okay with that. Like that's where we are now. So, I just think that there's so many instances where the change in the retail experience started to influence how we behave to one another just in the regular everyday world.
I think people are fed up. I think the tolerance for BS has just gone down. And then, there is a direct, to me, I see a direct correlation with what we see on social media and kind of,
Yeah, and I think also when you look at like the airline industry and people are fighting and punching each other on the airplanes. I didn't even get into that in the special, but there's just something that is pent up in us right now, and we have not been right since COVID. There weren't this many airplane fights 5, 10 years ago. And don't tell me the service has gotten worse. These are the same terrible airlines that have been delaying flights and pulling you out of your seats as before. These are the same crying babies that have been on the plane for decades. But now all of a sudden there's something different. And I think a lot of that is just rooted in connection. So I just thought it would be fun to see what if I did a comedy special on one topic. Let's just see what Gary Goldman did a whole one about depression. And that was like inspiring to see. So I was like, okay. Well, let me see if I can try and do something like that. So like, yeah, that's where a lot of that was the genesis, if you will, of the concept of the special.
I love that. It's perfect for you. Like I was saying, I think people go to you, people connect with you. So doing a special about connection is just, it's very appropriate. Um, a couple of other questions. I do want to talk about the White House
Yeah.
correspondence here. And you're coming up, I think, your anniversary, like just tomorrow on it. Looking at things now, what's
Yeah.
your coolest memory from that?
One more time.
What is your
What was my
coolest memory, favorite memory from doing that?
the thing that they don't tell you about the correspondence dinner is that the audience is lit so you can see their faces. So that part is a little weird, but I'm up there and you're doing jokes. Like I've practiced these jokes even more than my stand-up specials. Like I ran that material up until 2 in the afternoon before that night. I mean, you're up there and you're doing the material and you've got the teleprompter and the words are coming up and you can clock the words if you want or you can go straight ahead. And I'm doing jokes and you look over and the thing about the correspondence dinner is that for sure person isn't gonna laugh. One half of the room is gonna hate this joke. You don't know which half. So you do a joke and you look up and you see Caitlyn Jenner and Kellyanne Conway. And then literally right over here, you see Lester Holt and Lester Holt, who just because I have a degree in broadcast. I've loved this man for ages. And you see Lester Holt just give you one of these. You're like, hell yeah, Lester Holt. I'm gonna keep going. So, that was cool. There was also the table of black journalists at the correspondence dinner, and a lot of them representing American Urban Radio Networks, which was formerly the National Black Network, which my father co-founded during his days in Chicago. And when I gave the black media a shout out and just seeing that table, that was very, I don't know, full circle reassuring. I'm not quite sure what word I could put to it, but it definitely was. Um, it was definitely memorable, and my mom was there too, so also that.
Wow. I love that. All right. Lastly, I want to have some fun. I know you're a Jeopardy champion. You love trivia.
Well, I'm a winner. Well, I guess no, I am a champion because if I won one game, champion that day. Yes, yes. Damn it, you know what? Yeah, Cohen, I am a champion. I
Exactly.
need to believe in myself. Go ahead with the question. I'm sorry.
All right, all right. Well, and I love you do some trivia on your show, so we're gonna just throw this out and test your knowledge here. This is your own trivia moment, Roy. Um,
Okay.
which U.S. president
Okay.
famously kept a pet alligator in the White House? Oh, let me give you, sorry.
I don't know. I'm gonna just say Alexander Hamilton. No, that's too late.
I'll give you a choice.
That's too early. The alligators didn't come out till late 18.
You got it was A, Andrew Jackson, B, Teddy Roosevelt, C, John Quincy Adams, or D, Thomas Jefferson.
I'm gonna go A, Tate.
John Quincy Adams. I
Well,
know.
that's why we don't remember him none. That's why he ain't got nothing named after him. That's why all he got is a beer. And I think that's Samuel Adams. I don't even think that's John Quincy.
So would you let an alligator loose in a green room if it meant getting an Emmy, more Emmy votes?
Yeah, I absolutely would. Let me tell you something. If I was just nominated for an Emmy, that would be amazing. Just to be nominated. I don't want to say I don't care about winning. It'd be nice to win, but to just, you put your hard work into something. It's cool if your peers recognize it, but that doesn't stop the work. I haven't gotten an Emmy nom for comedy up until this point. It didn't stop me from doing another special. But yeah, it would be very dope to be a part of that situation. And I absolutely would push another Emmy nominee into that room with that gator if it meant that I could win. I'd put John Mulaney in that room. I'd put Jamie Foxx in that room. They both had good specials. Andrew Schultz had a good special. I'd throw him in there. And Sarah Silverman, for sure, Sarah Silverman, throw her up in there too.
Oh, Roy, I love you so much.
Chelsea Handler too. Oh, especially Rami. You got to put Rami in that room.
Yeah,
Got to put Rami Youssef in that room too. Got to put him in the Gator room.
the Gator room, the Gator Green room.
These are all my friends, by the way. These are all my friends. Big fans.
That would be some party. Bring some Sam Adams and uh
Yeah,
Roy, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.